Do you know that you, specifically you, watching this video, aren't allowed to watch Formula One? It's not me saying it, it's just the law of Twitter. You started watching Formula One only 2 years ago. They started watching in 1950 when the sport started. So naturally, you're an inferior fan. I want to talk about gatekeeping in Formula One and the toxicity of the Twitter community. To preface this, I feel like I need to be a little bit honest in that while I've maybe had some things directed towards me, what I've experienced is significantly less than others, specifically some of the women in the creator group that I've spoken to. But this is me voicing my opinion on how I feel about the gatekeeping as a whole for everybody and just how it doesn't make sense. Formula One prides itself on being the pinnacle of motorsport. It's innovative, it's racing at the highest level, and naturally the community should be up there with it. It should feel as proud to be part of the sport as anyone who's physically working for it. Instead, we're treated to people who say you can't like the sport if you start watching because of Drive to Survive. If you start watching the sport and you're not a guy. If you start watching the sport and your favourite driver isn't their favourite driver. How can anybody say points like that and expect to be taken seriously at any facet of life? You're directly preventing people from enjoying the sport that you love, which makes zero sense, because wouldn't you naturally want your sport to be the most popular in the world? Wouldn't you want the thing that you love and watch to also be everybody else's favourite thing that they love the most? It comes down to really people being like it's theirs. They don't want other people to experience what they experience, and they invalidate how other people feel. It doesn't make sense at all when you can be a fan for whatever reason you want. There are people who are fans specifically because of certain drivers. If I'm perfectly honest, Daniel Ricciardo was a selling point for me on Formula One. Drive to Survive presented him in a really appealing way, and that made me go, well, I might give this sport a go. I'm really intrigued now because this driver right here has brought me in. So when people attack stands, maybe some of them are over the top, but it's the same with any group. You're going to have extremists, and to collectively put an entire group of people who are just a really big fan of a driver into this group and say that they are all invalidated and none of them should be fans is ridiculous. It's just straight up ridiculous. I've touched on this topic before with one of the first ever videos I made about me being honest about the fact I'm a Drive to Survive fan and how that makes me feel like there's a possibility I don't have a right to make Formula 1 content, even though basically my entire life revolves around this goddamn sport. Everything I watch or read, the people I follow on Twitter, all are to do with this sport. Most of the people I talk to, or at least the group chat that's most active in my life, is a Formula 1 one. So saying that I wouldn't be as much of a fan surely because I got into sport later, I don't see the genuine arguments that come with that. Just because I came in later doesn't mean I don't know anything prior to 2018, and that's the same for everybody else. You can't just assume that their knowledge starts at 2018. We have the internet. We can go back, as it happens, and watch Michael Schumacher win his 7 titles if we want to, watch Sebastian Vettel win his 4, watch Lewis win his first, and watch all the little moments like Canada 2011. I literally just did a video watching that race, and it was really fun to watch it for the first time. And if they're not like me, they didn't want to go back and watch all the old races, they're watching for the here and now, that's also okay. You're arguing against somebody that would sit beside you in a grandstand cheering for the exact same things as the cars go by. I know personally that in my life, I know one genuine Formula 1 fan, and even then he had never mentioned it to me before. I've said this before. I made a video with him, it's called Callum, and I've heard from many other fans as well that they have the same problems. They don't know very many fans in real life. They've either gotten their partners into it or they've tried to get their friends into it and it's just not happened. So when you go online and you see this influx of people who are now falling in love with your sport, and it's honestly more popular than it's ever been in its entire history, and you say they can't be a fan when you've strived to have fans and talk to people about sport all your life, what's the point? Who It's so frustrating because it doesn't make sense. You wanted new fans up until it happened, and then you became selfish and said that the sport is yours and not theirs, and they can't play with your toy. It is childish to gatekeep anything. It happens everywhere, and it's honestly turning parts of this community into a really toxic environment. Everyone talks about how football Twitter is toxic, and it is. Not all of it, naturally. Same with Formula 1. Not all of the community is toxic. When, as an outsider looking in, you're seeing more negative than positive, we need to do something about that. We can't just allow it to happen. We all banded together to go against Thou Who Shall Not Be Named that's going to be on the grid next season. So we need to all kind of band together against this toxic environment that's being created unnecessarily. Obviously, I know that's not reasonably possible to expect everybody just to be like, fuck the haters. But there are people out there that can be swayed, that will understand that, oh wait, maybe I was in the wrong. There's a dialogue to be created and had. There are people significantly smarter and more articulate than me that could definitely get this point across better. But it's something that's frustrated me so extremely recently. And I'm at a breaking point where I might just give up on social media, but then I would miss out on all the Formula 1 content I want to see. So there's muting and blocking, and you can do what you need to do, but it always creeps in. You always see the toxic parts of social media. And I interact with a lot of people on there. I post my videos on Twitter. It's an app I never really used up until Formula 1 became part of my life. And I'm understanding why I stopped using it when I was like 15. Please don't take this as me trying to be all high and mighty and I'm better than other people. I was 14 once and I told people that they couldn't like bands I liked, which was absurd. It makes no sense. I was an idiot. And when my friend told me I was an idiot for it, I stopped because I was like, of course I want more people to like my really bad punk bands. It's better. I want to embrace that music with somebody else. And now I have people who do, that would never have listened to it before, like my girlfriend. There's a level of change that needs to happen in this community, and I don't know if that can happen, but it'd be great to see, to not fall into the toxic football Twitter community that I'm honestly seeing resemblances of. These were videos that I wasn't quite sure that I wanted to make. I didn't know if my opinion was relevant enough to have a say on things within Formula 1, and I've honestly been in a real creative rut recently, not feeling like I'm happy with what I'm making or that I'm really making stuff to the standard that I expect of myself. I understand I'm not popular, I don't have fans, but I still hold myself to a high standard, and it's kind of weighing on me. So if you like this type of video, I'd be really appreciated if you let me know in the comments if you liked the video. Is there anything that anybody that watches would like to see me do? I would love for suggestions, because the off season is killing me for stuff to make content about. But yes, thank you so much for watching, and stay safe out there.